Could a decision as extreme as stopping the development of a car in the middle of the season be the key to creating the most feared car in modern Formula One? Ferrari has decided to burn all the ships. It is no longer just about winning a race or even about lifting a title again. The objective is greater, to impose a new era. And that ambition, that almost desperate need to transform a recent history marked by frustration, has crystallized in a name that is already beginning to resonate with concern within the corridors of the paddock: Project 678. From the outside, that number might seem like just technical coding. But within Maranello, it is synonymous with a total break with everything that came before. Fred Vasseur, team director, understood that for Ferrari to dominate again, it was not enough to improve. You had to start from scratch, break molds, abandon dogmas, and above all, have the courage to make unpopular decisions. Therefore, when the 2025 season was just taking its first steps, with just 5 races held, Ferrari announced the unthinkable, completely stopping the development of its current car, the SF25. There would be no more updates, there would be no evolution on the track. Only 19 races remaining with a frozen car, while the rivals continued to add speed. This movement was interpreted by many as a surrender. But in reality, it was the beginning of a much more ambitious strategy, redirecting all human, technical, financial, and creative resources to the exclusive development of the 2026 car, the SF26. That decision meant resigning oneself to an entire year of suffering, watching McLaren, Mercedes, and Red Bull compete for victories while their drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, went around with a car incapable of improving. The impact was immediate. Team morale dropped, internal tensions rose, and both Hamilton and Leclerc began to publicly show signs of frustration. Vasseur later admitted that he underestimated the psychological dimension of the decision. Keeping an entire team motivated when you know you won't compete at the highest level requires emotional management of a different caliber. But this is where the story takes on brutal depth. Because Ferrari did not make this decision out of fear, but out of conviction. Vasseur knew that under the new 2026 regulations that completely redefined the rules of the aerodynamic and energy game, there would be no room for half measures. The only way to get to the first Grand Prix with a car capable of winning was to start before anyone else. Every day gained in the wind tunnel, every week of advanced simulations, every more iteration in CFD, would count more than any isolated podium in 2025. That's the bet. That is the sacrifice. To carry it out, Ferrari has transformed its work schedule into something unprecedented. The presentation of the SF26 is set for January 23, 2026, and the final assembly of the car will be done just 24 hours before, on the 22nd. A high-risk strategy that seeks to stretch the technical development time to the last allowed minute. This isn't just aggressive planning, it's a direct message to your rivals. Ferrari is not racing them in 2025. Ferrari is building something to crush them in 2026. And this message, without the need for words, has already begun to have an effect. Teams like Red Bull and Mercedes have increased the speed of their technical departments so as not to be left behind, and McLaren has accelerated the implementation of solutions that were planned for later. Everyone is looking closely at Maranello, not because Ferrari is winning now, but because they understand that what is brewing there could change everything. The heart of any Formula One car is its power unit. But what Ferrari is building for 2026 is not just an engine, it is a statement of intent. The Maranello team does not want a competitive unit. He wants the most advanced, the most extreme, and, above all, the most feared. And that's why it has made a decision that no other team on the grid has even dared to consider. Build an engine with steel cylinder heads. This decision, which at first glance would seem absurd, goes against everything dictated by the modern logic of Formula One. For decades, cylinder heads, one of the most important parts of the engine, have been manufactured with aluminum alloys due to their low weight and high thermal conductivity. But steel, although much more resistant to pressure and heat, has a fundamental problem. It weighs much more. And in a category where every gram counts, introducing this type of material into the heart of the engine seems like technical suicide. However, Ferrari has identified a unique window of opportunity. The new 2026 regulation increases the minimum weight of power units from 120 to 150 kilograms. This means that the penalty for using steel is no longer as dramatic as it was in the past. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The true value of this bet lies in what steel can do that aluminum cannot: withstand unprecedented levels of combustion pressure and temperature, allowing more power to be extracted with greater thermal efficiency. The engine can run hotter, more aggressive, more compressed. The development of this technology was not easy. Initially, even within Ferrari there were doubts. Work was carried out in parallel with a version of aluminum cylinder heads, in case the steel could not withstand the mileage necessary to support 4 engines per season. But then AVL entered the scene, the Austrian firm with which Ferrari has collaborated closely to bring this unit to life. AVL provided an innovative solution, a hybrid alloy that combines steel, copper, and advanced ceramics. This blend not only withstands extreme temperatures, but also improves heat dissipation and durability under brutal workloads. The most impressive thing about this bet is its collateral effect on other areas of the car. By working at higher temperatures, the new engine requires fewer radiators. That means body engineers can design a car with narrower side pods, less frontal area, and much more efficient aerodynamics. In Formula One, that kind of advantage is pure gold. More top speed, less drag, and a more compact center of gravity. And there is more. Greater thermal efficiency not only translates into power. It also helps to better manage the electrical load, something crucial under the new hybrid regulations of 2026. One of the main problems that the teams have faced in the simulations of that season is the dreaded battery drop-off. The depletion of electrical energy before completing a lap at maximum demand. Ferrari believes its combustion engine can compensate for that loss, delivering enough power to maintain performance without relying exclusively on the hybrid system. According to internal technical sources, this advantage could translate into a gain of up to 0.25 seconds per lap. But this is not a gamble without consequences. All this extra performance comes with monstrous pressure on the components. Extreme temperatures affect the valves, pistons, rings, and injectors. The entire complex must be designed to operate on the brink of collapse, without collapsing. And with a limit of 4 engines per year, a failure can cost an entire season. It's the most dangerous tightrope walk Ferrari has attempted in decades. The most fascinating thing is that, although this idea has been brewing for years in the Maranello laboratories, the rest of the teams still do not have a clear answer. Neither Mercedes, nor Honda, nor Red Bull powertrains are following this route. Some have considered reinforced cylinder heads, others intermediate materials, but no one has dared to go that far. Because the risk is too high. Because it requires not only extraordinary technical capacity, but also institutional determination to sustain such a project in the face of criticism, skepticism, and the possibility of failure. And there's the key: Ferrari isn't just doing something different. He is doing something that no one else dares to copy. That is the essence of Project 678. A concept that does not seek to follow the F1 of the future, but rather to force it to evolve to where they have decided it should go. At the core of Project 678, beyond the revolutionary engine, is an obsession just as radical: aerodynamics. And it's not just about being efficient. Ferrari wants to build the least resistant car of the 21st century. Its objective is for the SF26 to be not simply fast, but a straight-line missile, an unstoppable arrow that destroys stopwatches and redefines efficiency standards under the new rules. What they are designing at Maranello is a completely new concept of airflow. And that changes everything. Thanks to the new thermal dimensions allowed by the steel cylinder head engine, Ferrari has been able to do without many of the elements that traditionally took up space in the pontoons. This has given them the freedom to completely redesign the body of the SF26. The new car has lateral lines that, according to internal sources, will be the narrowest ever seen since the V6 hybrids were introduced in 2014. This decision, in appearance aesthetic, hides an underlying technical purpose: to reduce aerodynamic resistance to a minimum and increase top speed without sacrificing stability. To achieve this, Ferrari has gone beyond traditional packaging techniques. The internal arrangement of components has been reorganized from scratch. The battery, the hybrid cooling system, and the elements of the ERS system have been compacted to the millimeter. This not only facilitates the narrow design, but also improves the car's balance, its center of gravity, and its energy efficiency. It is a comprehensive approach where each structural decision impacts the overall aerodynamics. But that's just the first layer of the design. The most ambitious thing is in the work that Ferrari has done in the wind tunnels. Instead of replicating well-known concepts such as Red Bull's downwash ramp or Mercedes' zero pod, the team has opted for what they describe as an inverted flow philosophy. Instead of simply channeling air from the side pods to the rear, they are looking to direct the flow to areas where it was not aggressively worked before. Above the flat bottom and under the rear wing, taking advantage of Coanda effects to the extreme. This is one of the keys to offset the enormous drag that the 2026 cars will bring due to their new safety requirements and heavier batteries. And that is the key to the fear that Project 678 generates. It is not just the engine, nor the body, nor the flat bottom. It is the conviction with which every centimeter of the car has been designed to fulfill a single purpose, that no one else has answers when the SF26 appears on the track for the first time. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this.